From magic and wonder to buying an ice cream truck.
The ice cream van? Yeah.
Here's what happened to Rupert Grint after Harry Potter. Imagine this for a second. You're in your early 20s, fresh from starring in the highly successful Harry Potter movies that wowed a generation. Your whole life is still ahead of you, even though you've already lived the dream. Sounds incredible, right?
That's insulting!
For Rupert, it wasn't quite the dream, but more of a nightmare, really. Speaking to Entertainment Weekly, he revealed that he almost quit acting after the Deathly Hallows. He said the following: "We had such an intimate and intense few years in this bubble. When I started, acting was never something that I aspired to do. I did acting with school plays and stuff like that, but it was never something that I actively dreamed of." Rupert added that he felt like he was missing out on a lot in his life due to his constant Harry Potter commitments. He wanted to get out more and experience the world, to live a little. He wanted a taste of freedom. Before being cast in Harry Potter, Rupert had been an ordinary child like any other. He'd acted in school plays and his local theatre group, but he was far from a household name. He probably wasn't even well known in his hometown of Harlow. In fact, being cast as Ron Weasley was his first professional acting job. Funnily enough, when he received the role, he didn't even realise the extent of the commitment that was at stake. Never did he imagine that it would become almost a third of his life. At that point in time, only 3 or 4 of J.K. Rowling's books had been released, and the studio's plan was to see how the first 2 films fared before making more. For Rupert, he loved the books so much and just wanted to be a part of the wizarding world. That was his only singular dream. He said the following in a past interview: "I was obsessed about the books. I was obsessed with that character. So, for me, it was all about being Ron. I didn't really see a career after Potter was done." Yet, after doing it for a decade, day in and day out, it was naturally suffocating. He even admitted to The Guardian that the line between Ron Weasley and me got thinner with each film. So it was no surprise that he took a different path after Harry Potter ended. Rupert never took a full-on break from acting though. Even while he was involved at Hogwarts, he starred in some, let's say, different roles. From the highly controversial and adult-themed Cherry Bomb to the black comedy Wild Target, Rupert showed that he wasn't about to leave his feet glued down to the blockbuster world. Though his freedom from Harry Potter finally allowed him to live his life the way he wanted to, away from all the pressures of a major franchise. He met his longtime partner Georgie Groom, and they eventually had a child together. And he also took on some odd jobs, to say the least. One of the first was selling ice cream. Yep, good old Rupert was asking you if you'd like 1 scoop or 2. Ron would have been so proud. The story here is fascinating, since his first car was actually an ice cream truck, and he dreamt of being an ice cream man, so he had to naturally stock up on ice cream and all the good stuff and sell it to people. Then he decided to get into the real major leagues. This meant the hotelier business and opening a boutique hotel called Rigsby's Guesthouse in England. Rupert actually owned it for a couple of years before finally closing it down and getting back into acting full-time. In this case, it was for the trifecta of theatre, TV and film. Due to his distinctive red hair and mannerisms though, he wasn't always able to step out of Ron's enormous shadow.
I won a Ron Weasley lookalike competition.
Unlike Emma Watson, Daniel Radcliffe and Tom Felton, Rupert didn't have the luxury of being able to reinvent himself entirely. No matter where he went or what he did, he would always be seen as Ron Weasley by casting agents. Maybe directing would be the ideal path for him.
Bloody hell!
Okay, maybe not. Rupert actually stated that he believes he'd be a terrible director, saying, "I'm not very good at making decisions. Even ordering takeout, it really stresses me out. I've thought about it. I like the idea of creating, but I don't know. Probably more producing." As a result of the typecasting following him around in the business, he decided to do something similar to his former co-star Robert Pattinson and break the mold.
He's got a point, you know.
After Harry Potter and specifically Twilight, Rob struggled to be seen as anything more than Cedric Diggory and Edward Cullen, so he took a left turn when everyone else went right. He embedded wild and wacky indie projects and productions that excited him as an actor, and Rupert followed suit. From offbeat TV sitcoms like Sick Note to the psychologically unnerving Servant, he took on the parts that no one would have expected him to explore. Many fans expected him to star in a mega franchise like Star Wars or the Marvel Cinematic Universe eventually, but Rupert is more than content with where he is in life at the moment. Speaking to The Guardian, he admitted the following: "I peaked pretty early, but I'm fine with that. It would be ridiculous to think that you can replicate that level of success. It's always going to be a challenge, but I'm kind of enjoying that. It's quite fun to surprise people." For Rupert, it's more about enjoying the journey than focusing too much on the destination. It's a good lesson for us all now, isn't it? With all the rumours swirling around about Harry Potter and the Cursed Child being the next planned movie, and Chris Columbus admitting he'd love to direct it with the original cast, the question is, would Rupert even want to return to the franchise? Chatting to Esquire, he gave an answer that doesn't really say yes or no. but puts the ball in everyone else's court. He said the following: "I think going back now would be… I can't really imagine, but I mean, never say never. It would only be if everyone else wants to do the same. But yeah, no, I think just leave it." Rupert added that he and the cast share a deep bond, since they went through an experience that most people could not relate to. For him, if they wanted to return to the wizarding world one last time, he wouldn't be the outlier and say no. It just goes to show how special the whole Harry Potter experience was for him. Even though he was rightfully exhausted by the end of Deathly Hallows, he realizes how important and special this franchise is to him, his castmates, and the fans around the world. Since we're feeling all warm and fuzzy about everything Harry Potter, let's jump into a quiz next to see just how well you know Ron Weasley's favourite person, Hermione Granger. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome!